Good morning, happy Friday. This is our Astro and Tarot forecast for the July 12th through the 14th. Okay, so this weekend is weird, and how it's going to play out for you will be largely dependent on where you are in your healing process, shadow work, whatever it is that you are doing to do your inner work and take care of yourself. There could be some tests of boundaries, some emotional tests, some trauma triggers. There's a very karmic type of energy going on here. So today, right now on Friday, we have Venus opposite Pluto. It's exact, like right as I'm recording this right now. The moon is now in Libra, and it's going to conjunct the South Node today, which, while it's in a conjunction with that South Node, it's also going to be in a trine to Jupiter and Gemini. So this is really just opening up the doors for communication about the past, with people from the past, past relationships, past friendships, and it doesn't necessarily need to be communication. It could just kind of be like your mind going a mile a minute, trying to think through it and work through it and everything. But there could be some people popping up wanting to talk about things, wanting to clear the air. But keep in mind that Saturn is retrograde. There's always the possibility that people decide to pop back up because they caught their karma and now they want you to make them feel better because they're receiving the consequences of what they did in the first place, right? So really keep that in mind throughout this weekend, that we really have all of this going on with really Venus and Pluto are the ones in charge all weekend long, okay? Tomorrow is Saturday. We have our first quarter moon. Now this first quarter moon in Libra is actually related back to the October eclipse. It was October 14th at 21 degrees of Libra. This is our adjustment period. This is where we look at what changes we made with that eclipse. If you did set intentions with it, it was a new moon eclipse and it was a South Node eclipse. So there was probably some kind of release involved with that. So there's going to be an adjustment that needs to be made here. Some kind of conflict pops up kind of between your conscious and subconscious that might make you go, oh, I need to do this to be able to move forward from here. On Sunday, the moon moves into Scorpio in the first few hours of the day. And first thing it does when it gets into Scorpio is it starts to square off with both Pluto and Venus throughout the day. It's really kind of creating a T-square. So you really could see some kind of emotional reaction. When the moon is in Scorpio, it can go one of two ways. It's either going to get incredibly intense and deep and give you the ability to do whatever work it is that you need to do, or it can just shut down and ignore what's going on, because sometimes Scorpio likes to shove stuff in a box and throw it in the back dark recesses of the mind and pretend like it never happened. Okay, so keep that in mind when we get into Sunday, the things that are coming up over today and tomorrow. You may have to dig into some healing on Sunday when it comes to that, and it might not be too comfortable. And all the while, we have the Mars-Uranus conjunction building up in Taurus. So karmic happenings could still bring up some, verbal explosions. It could bring up some, fights, arguments. This conjunction, as I said, it's Uranus. You don't know what to expect. Anything could happen with Uranus, okay? So cards for the weekend. The energy of the weekend is the Ten of Cups. When Venus and Pluto are involved and they're talking to each other and having a good old time, relationship dynamics can get a little hot and heavy, okay? So it can very much have this, ooh, I found the love of my life and everything is great and wonderful. It can very much give you that energy. But ultimately, it can also lead to things like obsession and abuse, mental, psychological abuse, things of that nature as well. What we're focusing on is justice. So with this, things are coming out of the woodwork. People are getting their karma, whether it is good or bad. Pay attention to that. Make sure that you are noticing whether or not you're receiving a karmic lesson or karmic reward, whether or not the people around you are receiving karmic lessons and they're just trying to avoid that or play victim to that. But really pay close attention to what kind of karmic happenings are coming up, what kind of truths are coming out, what kind of information is coming out, and make sure that you're focused on that this weekend. And what we're avoiding is strength. This is really kind of giving me, watch, we got strength, looking at justice card. This is very much giving me, let the chips fall where they may, and don't try to be strong. You don't have to keep your emotions in check all the time. Like, absolutely feel your stuff, especially once that moon gets into Scorpio. It gives us the ability to feel things very deeply, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. You don't have to stay super strong all the time.